everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in...
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Carbon, and today, on this beautiful Sunday, before I have my members only stream tonight, I would like to talk about some tips and tricks within Blackout. Yes, I'm going to list them from top to bottom. Something like 50-something tips. So if you've already heard some of these tips, I'm sorry. I didn't ask everybody first what they knew and didn't know, so I just kind of jumbled up a list of some of like the biggest tips you can get within Blackout. And I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to break it down within a couple of different things here. But I would like to just start out with like the enemies. So if you're tired of never getting the victory in Black Ops 4, because a lot of people in my chat are always, hey, I'm usually top 5, top 10, what can I do? You know, sometimes it can take a small amount of luck, but you know, there are some tips and tricks that can help you win. You know, drop in, you know, kind of like with my mindset, and outsmart your enemies, you know, before they outsmart you, which is, you know, becoming a bigger and bigger thing as the game plays on. People are learning with some of these tips and tricks, man. So let's talk about, sorry, I dropped my microphone. Let's talk about the drop. Alright, so luckily in Blackout, knowing when to jump is very easy. So no matter the flight path, you know, of the helicopters, the second you jump, you'll want to angle straight down until you reach about 50 meters per second, and then straighten out. But I like to also judge where the character's arms go, so as soon as their arms fold in, that's when I start to level myself back out, because that's usually how I'm picking up speed. And you know, once you level out, you should be able to glide anywhere on the map. But it also doesn't matter how soon you jump. The convoy only flies, so all the helicopters fly at 70 meters per second. Meaning, you can jump at the beginning, across the map from your desired location, and be at the exact same location at the exact same time as the guy who jumped right over the top of it. So, the next part is where to drop. So, the drop depends on how you want to play. So, if you want to be somebody who wants to get a lot of kills, and you want to get better at getting those kills so you can get that final gunfight and have a little bit more confidence, I would suggest places like Rivertown and Nuketown, maybe even Firing Range. Nuketown's kind of iffy these days because of the zombies, and it really just depends on you, but it's mainly in the bunker area you're going to want to find some of these spots. But yeah, Rivertown, Firing Range, Construction are usually the best places to find some guaranteed fights. So you also want to try to find a spot that you like and drop there consistently. You'll begin to know the area. You'll begin to learn the ins and outs of every corner, where people could hide, where, you know, when you die in those areas, you can see where you're dying from, where people are hiding within those areas. You know what I mean? So once you get to know these areas, it's basically like home court advantage. Like, you want that home court advantage, you know? And then if you drop into a hot spot such as Firing Range like I do, you'll want to pick a building or a location that you know will have weapons. I always drop in the same building in Firing Range because I always know 99% of the time there's going to be a weapon in that building, and nobody ever seems to land there. It's great. So
we're going on a journey.
Another example is like Barn in Rivertown or the underground bunker in Nuketown. You know there's going to be guns almost right off the rip when you land in those places. So good spots that I like to drop, you know, don't always have that much traffic. You guys know I like Carbon City, which is those 8 buildings now that are between the 2 bridges across from Nuketown. That's one of my favorite spots. They have some solid loot. Usually when people do land there, it's pretty easy to gauge where they are and get a plan on how you can eliminate them. So when you're playing the game, eventually you're going to get to the first circle. So now that you know where and when to drop, that's when you're going to figure out, once you know you're on the ground, the circle is going to expose its location, and you're going to have to do your thing. You know, you're going to have to get to that location if you're not in the safe zone. So once you hit the ground, you know, find that weapon, no matter what it is. Your first weapon doesn't matter. It's something with bullets would, you know, be preferred. And then once you have a weapon in hand, you'll want to listen to your surroundings. If you hear anyone near you, you want to hunt them down immediately. Alright? Don't try to hide. Being hesitant in the beginning of Blackout will only get you killed faster than anything else. So usually you can hunt down your opponent and kill them before they're even expecting it, because they think they're kind of safe, they're just getting their guns, and then you come out of nowhere, boom! So be aggressive, you know, seriously. Stay out of the corner unless you want to die there. You know, you'll feel better about dying in a fight rather than hiding in a corner and hoping they didn't see you. And once the perimeter is clear, you need to check to see where, you know, the first circle is collapsing. And, you know, I like to have a small game plan about where I'm going to go once I get to the circle. And I like to stay on the edge of the circle. And then I'll hit some buildings on the way there. I'll know, like, you know, I want to hit my garages. Garages are a great location for boxes and loot. They are. Garages are just great, and so are gas stations. So I'll make a path to go to those places. So when you're moving from one circle to the next, I tend to stick to like the outer edges of the circle and stay near some like trees and not go into buildings so much. You know, I will on some occasions if I think that, you know, that's just a great place, because I think that all 360 degrees of me might be a threat to somebody seeing me, so I might take cover in a house for a second just to get like a gauge of where people are, and then I'll make another game plan and set, you know, off on my way. And then once you have that game plan, you can start looking for the tools and weapons that'll help you win. And, you know, those tools, you know, looting is a big part of Blackout. And, you know, sadly, there are things like the backpack that you need to get that I think you should just spawn with, but that's, you know, that's just one thing you need to get. But we're going to break down some of the things as far as the tools. So there are some perks. As far as the useful ones, if you're somebody who doesn't have a great headset, I would recommend awareness. If you're somebody who has a great headset, don't use awareness. It is absolutely some stuff you do not use. But consumer is one you're going to need. That'll help you heal 50% faster. So a lot faster in a gunfight. You want to be able to get those heals off so you can get back into a gunfight and kill that enemy, you know, before they think that you're done, you know, getting fully healed off. And then dead silence, which makes your footsteps and other actions a lot quieter. And if a lot of people aren't using headsets, that is a huge advantage. Huge advantage. And then there's reinforced. This reduces the impact you get from concussions. And that's something you need for the end of game. It reduces the same thing with explosives. And also resistance to razor wire. All these different things. These are things you need for the end of game. But there are some things I would stay away from. Such things as engineer. The only time I would recommend using engineer is if you are on one side of the map and the circle is on the other side and you have a long route to get to, you have no idea where a vehicle is, pop engineer, see if you can find a vehicle, get out of there. Otherwise, do not use it. Iron lungs, also useless. I get it can help you swim across the water, but the chances of you needing to hold your breath longer underwater during some sort of fight are slim to none. Do not use it. Also, looter, you can use it in the beginning, but just get rid of it after the beginning if you didn't even use it, you know? Just don't even pick them up from then on out. And then as far as medic, this allows you to heal and revive your teammates faster. So if you're using squads or duos, it's definitely a good perk to have, but in solos, I would absolutely recommend not using it. It does nothing for you. Outlander is also useless unless you know you're going to be stuck in the storm and you just happen to see one, pick that thing up. Skulker is also a great one to have if you use it right. Skulker can be paired great with Paranoia and Dead Silence. It really can be. Paranoia and Dead Silence will let you sneak up on enemies and just take them out like a ninja. It's amazing. And then there's Brawler. Alright, and then there's Squad Link. These are ones you just never need to put on. Brawler, if you like to have some fun, you're pretty good at the game, you kind of want to just go for some melee kills, yeah, it can be fun, but never a perk that you need. Alright, and as far as armor, if you are somebody who moves around a lot, don't use level 3, use level 2. It's quieter. If you're somebody who usually sits in a corner or behind a tree or a bush, which is okay, everybody has their tactics, then you're going to want level 3 armor to protect yourself from getting shot in the face because you have a more likely chance because you're sitting still. Also healing items. If you're carrying consumer, carry as many med kits and trauma kits as possible. Alright? And if you have some room, carry one set of 10 bandages. But I would say if you need to get rid of something and you already have 10 med kits and some trauma kits, or even just one trauma kit, get rid of the bandages. Alright? Also, anytime you have a trauma kit, use it immediately. You know, it gives you an extra health beyond your max. I can't tell you how many times I've killed somebody and we've been in a fight and I'm down to 1, 2, 3 health. It's great. I'm sure it's happened to you guys too. So any top-notch health is always the best, especially when you can heal your own armor now. Always keep that stuff healed. You know, and anytime you... so if you die without using it, you basically just helped your enemy win twice. So it's crazy. I love the trauma kits. I keep as many on me as I possibly can. And then there's some useful items. So the concussion grenades are obviously one thing you need. The sensor dart is another thing I would recommend. Smoke grenades are essential for looting and, you know, getting yourself out of a pickle. Cluster grenades have been nerfed. A lot of people can dodge them in an instant now, so I don't recommend using them. Instead, I would go for the frag grenade, of which you can cook and time just right. If you use it enough, you will start to learn exactly where to throw it, how long to cook it. Like, it's just great. And then the grapple gun, if you're somebody that likes to get on top of rooftops and whatnot, the grapple gun helps you, you know, attack enemies that are inside of buildings. If you can start from the top and work your way down, that's a heck of a lot easier than working your way down, you know, from the top from your way down. Because most of the time, people have the barricades that they need, like the trip mines and the razor wire and everything else, at the bottom to prevent you from coming up. And then there's less useful items, like the throwing axe. So unless you're amazing at the game, I would just put the throwing axe down. You do not need it. Do not risk it. I'd rather shoot at an enemy than throw an axe at them. I would also say that the trophy system has got to be one of the most useful pieces of equipment that is non-lethal. I would say that putting that on the front of any truck, putting them on the landing gear of the helicopter, putting them on the hood of the ARAV, it doesn't get much better than that. Putting it on the boats. They block missiles, they block all throwing things. Even, you know, at the end of game, if you don't have reinforced, trophy system is your backup. There's 2 ways to fight concussions and other things like that, and it is reinforced and trophy system. But it doesn't get much better when you're using a vehicle than trophy system. And then there's the symbol monkey, also a useless item. Unless you're in duos and squads and you guys like to post up in buildings or certain areas, you can always throw a symbol monkey on top of the RCXD and drive it around like a ticking time bomb. It's pretty funny, but it's also a waste. It's just funny. It does work. Also, the Molotovs are a lot useful now since the cluster grenades have been nerfed, and it is just sad. So the fact that I have to use Molotovs now is just, it seems like I can never get the kill. It's a good time to throw a Molotov at somebody who's hiding behind a tree after you've already lit them up. It gets them to move again, so you can finish your kill. Razor wire, I usually pick it up and I put it down the second that I pick it up. I do my best to do that. I don't know why. You never know if you'll get a kill with it. And then there is the mesh mine, which to these days, it seems like everybody has been using more and more and more of. They are just free kills. You put them on bridges, but you want to put them in discrete places. You don't want to just put them on the ground. You want to put them in places that aren't on the ground. When I'm going across a bridge, I'm looking for people who have placed them on the ground, obviously, that I'm not going to cross them. Then he's usually a path to cross. And even when you guys put them across dirt roads, try to put them in the grass of each side of the road. See if they'll attach. They usually do. If they're hidden within the grass, they are very, very, very hard to see. Okay. But then there's a lot of other things. So the game right now with the updates, I would say the best guns in the game are the Swordfish, the Mog shotgun, the Grav, the 50 cal sniper rifle, and the Damon 3XP. Those are, I would say, the main meta for weapons right now as of this update. But you know, there's always going to be updates and there's always going to be changes to the metas, and that, you know, that's just how it goes. So before I begin talking about the collapse, I usually try to make sure I have armor. You know, meds, a long-range weapon, and a short-range weapon. If you're somebody who carries 2 ARs, I don't get why. Try to carry an AR and a submachine gun or a shotgun. I would recommend the Mog shotgun. And if you're going to run a sniper, make sure to have a AR that can work in close-range situations, such as the ICR, the Maddox. It's just a lot more useful that way. And you can switch to a submachine gun a lot faster than anything else. So imagine that when you're in a fight, you need to switch to a weapon, and you always wonder why he gets to his weapon first. Probably because he's just switching to a submachine gun or a shotgun. Alright? So also have like a lane in mind. So when things get hairy, you'll sometimes have to retreat. And I like to call it resetting. If you're in a fight and there's somebody and you're behind a tree and you're stuck, try to back up in such a view that you still can't see the enemy, because if you can't see the enemy, he can't see you. Try to just back up and reset yourself, maybe do a flank. You know, it's a very good tip. And if you're having to run from the collapse of the storm, you know, I like to stick to the walls of the collapse. Like I said, I like to stick to the circles. That way I can always have like one side, it seems like, safe. It seems like one edge is always going to be somewhat safe, but there are the rare people who come out of the storm and they're like, hey, what's up? I just got out of this party. You want to come? And you're like, sure. And then they kill you and you're like, man, okay. Also, you have to rotate around the edge of the circle. Running through the middle will get you killed quickly. That's like everyone just shooting at different, you know, angles at you from 360 degrees. If you're on the edge, just running the edge, you always know where you're looking for. You really do. So always try to stay within the edge, and also make sure you rotate in such a way that you're always keeping your eye around, like you're always keeping to look behind you, your left, your right. Just always keep your eyes open. Alright? So perks like mobility can help you navigate to the next circle. It's a huge advantage, and being fast and unseen is probably your best chance, you know, at winning the overall game and outperforming your opponents, strategizing them basically. So only engage enemies you know you can kill. If you don't have a rifle, don't bother shooting at an enemy that is far away. Don't waste your submachine gun bullets, because odds are he does have a rifle and you're probably gonna die. So in close to mid-range combat, movement is key, and sticking in a losing fight will get you killed quickly. You'll eventually get a feel for what you're losing in a fight. So, like, if you're getting shot, usually staying in one location gives your enemy the advantage of resetting himself so he can go out of sight from you, because you're trying to hide from him because you don't want him to shoot you, right? So therefore you can't see him. So now he's repositioning in such a way where he knows where you are, but you think he is exactly where he is, and next thing you know, you're dead because you didn't move. Alright? So you gotta have a good movement system within the game. Stop just hiding everywhere. Hide when you have to, and don't hide when you don't. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the top 10 situations that everybody asks me about. So once you reach the top 10, things get very intense. Your heart starts to race. Your adrenaline starts to pump. Your hands starts to sweat. You know, it gets crazy. And the key to winning is to stay focused. Stay in cover. Be quiet as possible, or just kind of maneuver in such an area where you're in control of a certain area of a circle, and you know that as long as you just keep moving back and forth in this area, you have it covered. Things will not change. People will not come near you because they don't want to. And stick to cover. Seriously, this one is obvious. Everyone in the top 10 usually is decked out with grenades and fully attached weapons, and there's no distinct advantage other than your positioning and use of cover. So I would have a big suggestion. If you're somebody who has a 4x scope on your AR at the end of the game, just take it off. Take it off. Just take it off. You don't need it. Unless you're just absolutely dominant with a 4x, you know, keep it on. But, you know, only go for a kill if you're sure you'll have it. Don't give away your position. Unless you need some heals, don't shoot at somebody just to shoot at somebody. Unless you know that once you start shooting at somebody, they're probably going to die. Or unless you're confident that nobody's around you and nobody's going to see you, just don't take the shot. And if you find yourself in a 1v1 situation, the final two people, stay calm. Sometimes your heart gets beating and, you know, you're nervous and you make mistakes. I do it every day. Just remember the combat tactics you use, and the more you use them in game, the more it'll become muscle memory, the more reactions you will have. You will automatically be doing things you'll start amazing yourself what you'll start to be doing to conquer your enemy. You're in a fight, next thing you know, you're climbing something, you're going over here, you're outthinking your enemy, he runs past you, you shoot him in the back, and you're just like, ha, I got you. You outsmarted your enemy. So now that you have some tools and that knowledge, you know, that necessary urge to win a match of Blackout, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you get unlucky, and it happens. Don't let it beat you up. Go to the next game. Maybe take a break. Take a little break. Get some food in you, okay? Try again. You'll be killed from behind, or you'll miss a jump, and you'll fall to your death. But nothing beats experience. Put hours and hours into the game, and you will eventually begin racking up those wins. I promise you. So I wish you good luck on it. I really do. And I hope that some of you who found this video who aren't subscribed to me will subscribe to me. I upload every single day, and I also want you guys to know that a lot of my tips and tricks and videos that might just be gameplay videos, the tips and tricks videos, it's not just about listing different tips. It's not about that. It's about watching people who are good at the game, learning what they're doing. I learn half of what I do from watching other people. That is where you get your tips and tricks from. Follow my channel. Follow a lot of these other COD Blackout people who are good at the game. We all have different strategic abilities, and we can all complement each other when we play. So guys, please drop that subscribe. Please drop that like. Sign up for that Amazon gift card giveaway. Link and information in the description. Go check it out. Follow the rules. Guys, it's been fun. It's your boy Carbon. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I did wrong. Peace.
Was that the best?
Whew. Oh boy. What'd you say?
Shut up, Trad.
You couldn't hear me. You're angry. Get out of here. Look at you. Oh, you goofy. You're goofy.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the